Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry. With me, in his own home, actually, is Eric the Whiskey Mutant Smith. Eric, what's up, buddy?
Get out of my house. Okay. What you doing in my basement?
All right, see ya.
Roll the music, it's over.
A lot of awkward mic noise there.
What you doing in my basement?
What are you doing in my backyard?
My backyard's right there. What you doing in it?
I wanted to see if you need me to cut your grass.
It ain't that day of the week. What's going on here?
Are they also, is that just breathing or is that smoking out of the...
Smoking.
Okay, yeah.
Virginia Slims. Right out of the stoma.
I'm more of a Kentucky Spirit guy.
My grandpa used to smoke those ones that didn't have a filter on them.
Yeah.
God.
I'm just kidding. I've never smoked a cigarette before.
Really?
Yeah. I don't have any interest in.
The last cigarette I smoked was at the meetup.
Yeah, I know.
With the old ladies in the parking lot.
I walked out to bring stuff to my car, and you look at me and go, "You want a cigarette?" I was like, "No, I don't want a cigarette." What are you doing?
I only smoke if I'm around people and we're drinking and somebody. It's very rare that I do. I used to a little more in the band days because it was like,
'cause that's what you do.
You're young and you're trying to be cool and just everybody smoking. And then I stopped. And then it's yeah,
I know what cap that is.
Yeah. So then I was like, I walked out and she was like, "Now you boys are so funny. You want a cigarette?" And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to have a cigarette with this 75-year-old lady right now. And we sat and had a cigarette together. And Barry did exactly what he said. He walks out. He looks at me. He's like, "What the hell is he doing?"
I was so confused.
Well,
but honestly, I think it was about par for the course with how weird that night had gotten. I was just kind of like, you know what? This isn't the strangest thing that I've seen today. Watch this 75-year-old man walk around a convention center with a wife beater on. I think it's all par for the course.
Then I gave him a sample of the new riff. And I was like, "Have a good night."
I'm sure that lit him up.
And then later on, one grabbed my ass. So that sums it up.
Well, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, thank you so much for being here. If you're returning, you know that this is exactly how every episode goes. Pretty much.
Welcome or welcome back.
Yeah. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. You can follow us on social medias at My Bourbon Pod and at Whiskey Mutant. You can support the show on Patreon. Patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast for as little as $1 a month.
Yeah.
No video this week of the podcast. I mean, no, I'll still put it up on YouTube, just, audio only, but there's no
I mean, I can take a picture of us right now if somebody requests it to prove that we're here.
I mean, I think you can probably tell by the lack of barking dogs that we're not at my house.
You may just hear children crashing and
calling people on the Alexa.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. Yeah.
Anyway, so this week we normally start with either Flying Blind or Sips and Snacks, and Sips and Snacks is a pairing thing, and that's what we're doing this week.
Yes.
I'm very curious about this.
Okay.
I'm very curious about how this came about as well.
Okay, this came about one night when everybody was asleep. Okay, I'll tell you the story about that in a second.
I can pretty much assume, but I'm going to let you finish.
Everybody was asleep, and obviously, me being night shifter I am, I went into pairing mode, and I was like, man, I've not ever posted this one because I think I honestly forgot about it because I drank a lot that night, but it came back to me earlier, and I was like, man, we got to do this one. So this is like my movie theater pairing. It's Bunch of Crunch. There's some stomping. It's Bunch of Crunch, which in a box, which is my favorite movie candy. It's Nestle Crunch. Yeah. And I love it with popcorn. And so I remember I was like, you know what? I bet mellow corn would be good with this. That's what I said to myself in my head, and I tried it, and it was really good. So this is like being at the theater. You're taking your corn and you're mixing it with your Bunch of Crunch, and I'm hoping you enjoy this as much as I do.
I'm excited for it.
So, yeah, mellow corn. Have you ever reviewed mellow corn on the podcast?
We have not, actually.
I was thinking back to all the episodes, and I was like, I don't think they have.
No. Thank you. I do love Bunch of Crunch, though.
Oh, man, they're my favorite. So, yeah, I would say chomp a little bit of Bunch of Crunch and then take a sip. Because this is not the best for pour-overs. It will just go everywhere. Dude, right?
It shouldn't work as well as it does.
It's so good.
I like that a lot.
It's really good. It's not like straight up having Bunch of Crunch and popcorn, obviously, but there's just this enough corniness in that
Yeah.
to give you kind of that butter and sweet and savory type thing.
You know, honestly, I don't dislike mellow corn.
I don't either.
Like, I have a bottle. I don't go for it very often because I'd rather go for
I probably had that bottle for
bourbon.
like 2 years.
I've had mine since before Swan moved this last time because he just gave it to me.
So if you're wondering why the cap is green,
I know why the cap is green. You broke the other one.
yep, it's sitting right over there in that little thing. You want some more?
But it's the yeah, sure. Actually, in a minute.
Okay.
But it's the cap from a Heaven Hill 6-year,
Yep.
90 proof.
Yep, it is.
I was trying to figure out what was off about it, like just looking at it.
It looks kind of cool though.
I don't know why I like it.
It's like 90s Seattle Supersonics. But yeah, man, that's like when I go to the movies, I do Bunch of Crunch, popcorn, and whatever I've snuck into the theater.
Heck yeah.
But this, I tried to pair it up together. I really like it.
Man, it makes me want to go to the movies.
Man.
Hopefully I
Watch-
won't fall asleep, but
Watch Morbius. It's Morbin time.
it's Morbin time, y'all. It's Monthbius again.
I saw a meme where they were like, imagine the studio does all this, and they don't even take the opportunity to add a little extra bit of him going, it's Morbus time. Imagine how disappointed you are when you watch it the second time it comes out and they don't add that.
So, did we talk about that, about Eddie Burback? He's a YouTuber. And he made a video where he went to go see Morbius 5 times in a row, 5 days in a row.
I feel like we did.
And he bought tickets for Everything Everywhere All at Once, but he snuck into Morbius.
Speaking of that movie, I want to watch that. Not Morbius, but
Oh, Everything Everywhere All at
Yeah.
Once? Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I want to watch Morbius too just because of how horrible it's going to be.
but just saying that you bought something else and snuck into Morbius is amazing.
Well, he didn't, first of all, he didn't want to give them money. Like, he didn't want to give Morbius money because he knew it was going to be bad. And he also didn't want to get caught sneaking into Morbius with the different ticket because he would be so embarrassed. It's a really funny video. It was at like number 5 trending on YouTube
That's funny.
for a few days.
Check it out.
But I tell you what else is trending is talking about what we've been drinking recently.
What have we been trending recently?
What have we been trending towards drinking recently, I suppose?
Why don't you go first?
I'll go first for sure. I got a few things I want to talk about.
Tell me about it.
I got some things I forgot to talk about, too. So a few weeks ago, I had a tour group that I had to take down to Nashville to drop off.
I know where this is going.
And so I went and stayed in Franklin, Tennessee, which is about 30 minutes south. And I went to go see Will and Grease from the podcast and went over to Grease's house with the tour bus. He didn't know I was going to be in the tour bus. And so I rolled up in front of his house and I saw him. I could see him through the window in his front door. Slowly realize what was happening.
Like, this is for real right now.
Like, this is really, Perry really just rolled up in his work vehicle. But we went down to the Nook. I brought along some curly for him and Will to try. They loved it. I mean, Will from like the first sip was like, I am fully on board with this. And I was super happy about that because we're now like unofficial ambassadors for curly.
I feel like curly's like our boys. Like it's like we're gonna
get the scoop on like the first new thing that they
I hope so.
do. Grease brought out a couple of fantastic bottles. That Four Roses pick that James and Bob did for George. And he also brought out
You want any of that?
right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Keep talking.
Okay. Well, he also brought out the Warehouse C Tornado Survivor and the Toast. No, what was it? It's one of the
Cured?
Yes, the Cured Oak. Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about that.
So had some of the Cured Oak. One of the best Taylor products I've ever had. And then there was so little left of the Tornado Survivor that we just killed it. And I mean, there were probably like 3 ounces left. And so we each got about an ounce, maybe a little bit less than that. And Grease had to like wrap up really quickly. He had to go take care of the girls and everything. And we're standing around the Nook and we're all signing the bottle. And I went and signed the Nook and everything. And we literally, all 3 of us just shot the rest of the Tornado. And Grease was like, boys, we just shot like $500 worth of whiskey. It's like, oh, you're right, we did. It was crazy, man. It was wonderful.
That's, I mean, there's a few of those Taylors that are really good.
Yeah. Last year's barrel proof.
Oh, yeah.
I want to ask you this. I'll ask you this in a second because we don't have a whole lot of news to talk about this week, but I think that it's something that we could definitely discuss. But I'll come back to it in a minute. But so yeah, that was just a wonderful memory. Thinking about
it is. It's awesome, and it was like
it was very very Grease,
very Grease, and then they posted on it on Instagram and all that, and like it was one of those moments where I was scrolling through and I saw that and I go, man, I just love seeing my friends have fun because like you were there and I know like, and it's just knowing that you 3 and how much love I have for you guys and how special that bottle is, especially the Grease. Like that's like his shit, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean? Absolutely.
So yeah, that made me very happy when I saw that post. It was so good.
It was like exactly how I wanted that. Not that I had in mind, like, I hope that he breaks out the Tornado Survivor, but it was just like...
You don't get to hang out with them a lot, and when you do, you want to have, like, that one pour that's just like, let's top off our visit together with something special, and that was perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, I have really not been able to hang out with them since Whiskey Weekend 2.
Yeah, even when you came with me to 4, like, I didn't even get to hang out with them that much all week because they were so busy.
And like that's one of the things that, and it's no, I'm not trying to criticize them at all because the way that they do Whiskey Weekend is their own thing, and where we have our meetup, we're always there with everybody. Like we want to make sure that we're hanging out and we have that time to like see everyone and interact and everything, and like that's always something that I want to maintain. Even if it does get bigger, we're as present as we can be and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's tough that, you go to something like that and you don't get to hang out with those guys.
You do. But, like, you get your time together here and there when you can, but like, they're busy and it's like, you don't want to bug them. I'm like,
oh yeah, for sure.
So,
and like, I wanted to make sure that I saw them too before, because I mean, I hadn't seen them since 2020, right the week before everything shut down, and it was before Eden was born and everything. So I just had to make sure. But so
shooting Warehouse Survivor,
Tornado Survivor,
Tornado Survivor.
But then also, I got to hang out with Patrick and Heather Starkey last night. They came over for
Elon?
Yeah, well, sorry, Elon and Heather.
Yeah.
And yesterday was actually his birthday.
It was.
So I had some of Darren's Old Forester birthday bourbon left over.
Oh.
And so that was our first pour for the evening. Got into some of that 75 beam that John left behind as well. I broke out a couple of special things too. That one of them I'm gonna keep a little secret. I'll tell you about off air. But cracked open what I think is probably going to wind up being, just because it's becoming scarcer and scarcer, but what's probably my very last bottle of C918. So,
But you know what they say though.
what?
What's mine is yours. So
Well,
there's always more C918 over here.
you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. If you run out,
yeah.
we got another bottle.
Joe Brazo gave me a bottle when he came in.
Browser?
Yeah, Brazzers.
Yeah.
I was like, this is special. This is a special one that I gotta hold on to a little bit.
Dude.
I think
We're getting off topic, but like there's something special about C918.
there is. I think it's the best batch that they've done since they started naming the batches. But anyway, I've talked for long enough about what I've been drinking recently. You gotta, speaking of Elijah Craig barrel proof.
Yeah. I just
You
happened
son
to,
of a gun.
had a good friend come upon a bottle, and he gave me a very generous deal on it, and we haven't opened it yet. I'll probably save it till me and Perry do something, or I don't know. But it's B516, 139.4 proof.
Yep.
Yeah, so I can't wait to get into that. So that's what we will be drinking later.
Much later.
But at the same occasion, my neighbor had me over, and he had just purchased a bottle of E.H. Taylor 4-grain.
Talking a lot about Taylor this week.
I know. And he just got it, and he was generous enough to say, hey, let's pop this and have a pour. And it was very good.
the drum roll.
Like that, I've never had cured oak, but I feel like it would be on kind of that level. Like
Cured oak is something amazing for sure.
But it was in my mind, I was going straight into it thinking like I'm comparing this to just normal E.H. Taylor because I want to see what kind of level it's on. And man, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It was one of those that I was just sharing a pour with a buddy, and I didn't really think about what to pair with it. I wasn't thinking about like, what am I getting on this? I just took a drink. I smelled it, took a drink, and I was just like, this is freaking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, E.H. Taylor 4-grain. First time I ever had it. Maybe the last time I ever had it. Unless I go over to his basement and just say, let me have some of that 4-grain. Sneak over.
I can't remember if I've had it or not. I feel like I have. But it's been so long ago that I don't have any like actual memories associated with it. But, you know.
Could you imagine just being like able to get a few of those when they first came out for normal price and having them now?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you could buy a car if you sold them all.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the insane thing about it is too that people are willing to pay that much money.
Yeah.
To actually own
instantly.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a no-brainer for them.
Yeah.
They don't have to call their broker. They don't have to call their financial manager.
Increase.
Yeah, exactly. They just are like, hey, how about I do this?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I wanted to ask you this. And this is something that we've kind of been doing over the past few years, especially once we get to this time of the year, halfway through. And this is about the time where we start kind of collating our lists for best bourbons, best whiskeys of the year. How have you felt so far about the new releases in 2022?
Honestly,
Is there anything that's really kind of stuck out or something that, is, I mean, aside from, I know that we've talked about Curly
yeah, I was gonna say
nonstop, but like,
I'm happy with Curly.
Yeah. But as far as like, some of these newer things that are on the market, I mean, what are your thoughts so far here in June?
I think I'm more on. I'm happy with like the affordable new releases. Like I'm looking over and at the 2 new Jack Daniels, and I'm like, we had those on some Patreon stuff, and we'll do a full review of them later. But like, that's such a good product, especially the triple mash, and it's affordable, and hopefully it's going to be around. So I'm happy with that. Did the Private Select Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs come out this year, or was that last year? I feel like recently we've been able to get them.
I can't remember.
Anyway, a lot of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof picks that I've got, I've been happy with. That's a newer thing. Let's see, what other releases have we had?
Do you want me to look on Breaking Bourbon?
You can.
Let's do that.
I'm trying to look around here since. I mean, a lot of like the MGP stuff. What else has been out?
The barrel releases so far this year?
Yes.
Actually, only 32's come out this year. But, I mean, like, the gray label Seagrass. I forgot to tell you, by the way. We are getting a sample of the gold label Seagrass. Anyway, Kentucky House St. Patrick's edition. The Blue Run High Rise.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Castle and Key. Penelope Architect.
Yes, please.
Wise Man Rye.
We haven't tried that yet, have we?
I have it, but we haven't tried it yet. We'll do it for a bonus episode.
Good.
All the new Thomas S. Moores, which you've not tried yet.
I tried the Chardonnay one, I think.
That's not a new one, though.
Oh.
That was from the first run of releases. The new OKI that's come out.
We may be getting one of those. Just saying.
Good. I'm excited to try it. The 17-year-old Fitz, the 17-year-old Heaven Hill.
Oh yeah, we got a
special.
sample. Oh my God! If somebody put it for MSRP right in front of me right now, that 17-year-old Heaven Hill, it would be one of those instant buys.
Yeah,
love that.
Basil Hayden Subtle Smoke, which actually is not that bad. Darren brought it for me to try when I was in Louisville a few weeks back. Not the worst thing in the world.
I'll be the judge of that.
But not $50 worth, I don't think.
Good.
Tennessee?
We'll talk about that later. If you listen to the live episode, you got a little taste of that.
But that's really everything that's come out so far. I mean, I think
I'm running into like 2021, the end of 2021 into 2022. Man,
I feel like those Elijah Craig barrel picks did start coming out this year.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a end of 21 thing.
If they did, it was right on the end and we weren't getting much.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't normally think about like including picks in like my top 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, like in general, I could probably say like, the Elijah Craig barrel proof picks.
Yeah, because they just came out. I think that's okay to say.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll ever do larceny barrel proof picks.
I would love to try it because I would love to see what a single barrel of that is.
Yeah, for sure.
But
have you opened your Elijah Craig barrel proof?
No, we haven't had a chance to sit down and do it.
That's true, we haven't.
Because I wanted to. That was going to be another one I wanted to share with you. But I guess technically, if I would have chose a larceny, that would be the single barrel.
Yeah, that's true.
I had it there, and it was really good.
Yeah. Just not as good as the Elijah Craig. Yeah.
I mean, it's really good. And I'm curious to when, like, so everybody who came to the Heaven Hill You Do You Bourbon or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
You Do You Boo. So that same batch will run for like a month or two. And then once it runs out, they switch them, they said.
Yeah.
So if you did that last month or so, we may be able to do a review on that. People who did the meetup, they may have the same one if they did that. I think Dawn got a Bernheim to take back, if I remember, which was really.
I think you're right. Yeah,
it was really good too.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of touch base with you on that.
I think the stuff that we've tried the majority has been good. I've been excited. I love the new Jack Daniel's stuff. I love the older Seagrass stuff.
Yeah,
Regular Seagrass, get the fuck out of here. And I'm excited to try everything. Like we should get to try Dixon's new. It will come out before then, right?
I think he said like September.
Yeah. So I think we're like you said, we're in the halfway point, and I think we got a lot of good stuff to go for the rest half.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the antique collection. We haven't gotten to
Russell's Reserve 13's coming back out with a new batch.
Oh, yes, it is.
So
that's then there's that like Russell's single barrel thing.
Oh yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Or single rick house or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I think that there's still a lot of stuff we have left to go that is, and it's not to say that like I haven't been wowed by some of the stuff that's come out this year, because I have been. I've been very impressed with it. But it's not really, there's not a whole lot that sticks out in my mind until I go back and like look at that list, and it's like, oh, here are all the things that have
I feel like
shown up.
Between the two of us, we've got a lot of past stuff that we've not normally got.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about this year where we've been less focused on, new releases, and we've just kind of gotten what's come across our paths more than anything.
Just randomly or here and there or whatever. So
yeah. Anyway, let's talk a little bit of news. Let's talk about the first thing. That everybody's been talking about
since this morning.
And a little peek behind the curtains, a little inside baseball and everything. We're recording this 3 days after we recorded the last episode.
Yeah, so.
But it is inexcusable for us to not talk about this particular product. I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud.
We're going to pair this on the show.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to pair it. We're also going to have to find samples of the vodkas.
Yeah.
So that we can have a full meal.
This is going to be a full episode of just us eating and talking about this.
Arby's smoked bourbon, 90 proof. Bourbon whiskey finished with American oak staves that have been smoked with hickory, mesquite, and pecan smoke.
The label literally says smoked like Arby's meats. Proudly distilled in the USA, baby.
On the back, if you walked into Sadler's Smokehouse in Texas, where they diligently spend all day smoking Arby's finest of meats, you'd find piles, this is a very low quality image, I'm sorry, piles of hickory, mesquite, and pecan woods, like the ones used to smoke this here smoked bourbon.
Oh my gosh.
You'd smell that same earthy wood in the air that you taste in each sip. You'd feel the familiar warmth of... I don't know what that word is. And you'd feel hungry. And you'd feel thirsty. Finally, Arby's has smoked the meat called smoked bourbon.
What?
Produced, finished, and bottled by Brain Brew Custom Whiskey, Newtown, Ohio.
Ohio?
Our distillery is located just east of Cincinnati and 7 miles north of Kentucky.
Watch out, New Riff.
They're coming for you.
What? My favorite thing on the label, on like the mock-up label thing here, is the wax stamp. It says actual bourbon.
Good. Thank goodness.
Actual
I'm
bourbon.
so glad
with
that
the
they felt
Arby's
the need to.
logo
I'm
on there.
so glad they felt the need to clarify that for us.
This is not Arby sauce. This is actual bourbon. I'm going to pour this thing all over an Arby sandwich.
We are getting smoked brisket sandwiches.
Yeah. No, we are going to get
and roast beef. We're going to get a
like
bunch of
3
stuff.
different sandwiches.
Yeah,
and we're going to do
absolutely
pour over all of them. We're going to see how this works.
I just don't like. I know how I feel about it, but I don't know how it makes me feel. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between the two.
It's almost like it's just.
It feels like a joke.
It does. It feels like a troll.
It feels like we're being trolled, and it feels like God has abandoned us. Because
the ghost of E.H. Taylor is just going to haunt us all.
And the thing is, like, all bets are off. Like, people are going to do literally anything they want to now. Yeah. Like,
I can't wait till McNuggets come out with a bourbon.
We got your Big Mac bourbon.
Oh, my God. Secret sauce is in the recipe. It's the secret sauce that's been handed down from generation to generation, and we've distilled it, and we've bottled it for the world to have and enjoy.
I mean, we're not crazy, right? This is insane. This is an insane
it's absolutely
thing.
Insane. This is King Arby's making a bourbon.
Yeah. But I can't wait to get this, get some of the curly and crinkle fry vodka, and make like a full meal out of all of this.
It's going to be a whole episode.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be the wildest thing we've ever done. And I like, my brain's not ready for it. It's so weird, man. It is so weird. But in some bizarre way, I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
But is that like, am I broken?
No. You're just curious.
Yeah, I guess. But it just feels like I shouldn't be excited for this.
But we have to be. We literally have a segment called Sips and Snacks. This is our shit right here.
And this was built for us.
I just can't believe Arby's has a bourbon. Oh, from Ohio. They didn't even go to Kentucky.
Okay. Arby's, I don't think would have been my first choice for like a fast food place that would have had a bourbon.
What would have been?
Maybe Wendy's.
Wendy's, really?
They've already got
they got that bourbon bacon burger thing,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So I kind of think like maybe if they were trying to,
Listen, Arby's is just going all to hell because they have burgers now.
You watch your mouth, though.
Are they good?
It's a good burger. I got it the other day.
But that was their thing, though. They had everything but burgers.
I know.
If Chick-fil-A starts getting burgers, I'm just boycott all fast food.
It'll come back around to where the only thing you're going to want to get is Taco Bell.
Oh, fuck Taco Bell. I still ain't got Taco Bell since then.
I got to be honest with you, I have. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's not your family, it's mine.
But you're family.
Well, you
when I'm here, I'm family.
Isn't that a fast food thing?
That's Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family. But I turned it around and it's like Date Mike.
Date Mike.
Pleased to meet me.
Pleased to meet me.
Anyway, I can't talk about Arby's bourbon any longer.
I mean, that's insane.
It's something that we had. It was, like I said, unavoidable.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to recover from that. You want to talk about some new releases?
Yeah, let's do it.
Coming from Whiskey.
Arby's bourbon.
Coming from Whiskey Advocate, here's some new releases. High West Rendezvous Rye. They got a new rye coming out.
Okay.
4 to 6 years old, 92 proof. $70. Limited but nationwide. Rendezvous Rye is High West's flagship label and was the first whiskey ever released by the company. The country of High West. A bold high rye expression, okay, that showcased older rye whiskeys. It attracted legions of devotees and made the company's name. Last year, High West announced that Rendezvous would become a limited seasonal release as it gradually transitions to making its own pot still whiskey at its Wanship, Utah distillery.
Okay. All right.
Frey Ranch. Is it Frey Ranch or Fry Ranch?
Is it Frey?
Yeah.
I think it's Frey.
I think it is too. Single barrel rye coming from Nevada. 5 years and 8 months to 6 years and 6 months. Varies from 118 to 128 proof.
Okay.
$100 a bottle. Limited release, limited availability. Coming out in September, actually. Wow,
Cool.
that's early for them to put this out.
Yeah.
Let us know. But I'll be interested in trying that, especially, higher proof rye whiskeys. There aren't a whole lot of them.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see
It will.
what that's like. Chattanooga whiskey.
Okay.
They got a bottled and bond coming out.
Nice. Didn't they already have that?
Well, I guess they've got a new one
Oh.
from spring of 2018.
Okay.
So,
Here.
100 proof, of course, $53 a bottle. Approximately 10,000 bottles sold at the Chattanooga Whiskey Experimental Distillery and in Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas.
I never saw the first batch.
Yeah,
of
me
the
neither.
I mean,
that being said, I wasn't actively looking for it.
no, but I would always look at some places. But
And it looks like that's it for releases. So now we'll talk a little bit about some TTB labels.
do it.
Not that we haven't already, but
Actual bourbon.
yeah. Well, this one isn't actually a bourbon. It's a rye. Square Six. So the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience. It's a new release from them. Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey, 95 proof, 63% rye, 24% corn, 13% malted barley. Their bourbon wasn't very good, so I don't know how to feel about the rye, but we'll see. And today, this could have been in news. Heaven Hill broke ground on their new facility. Yeah. So we got invited, but I had to be here.
You make it sound like it's my fault.
It's not your fault.
But I had to be here.
Or else I'd have been sleeping on the couch. Smoke Wagon. It's going to have a bottled and bond straight rye whiskey.
Oh, I'm down for that.
51% rye and 49% malted barley. Holy moly.
Oh, it's not a 95.5.
No.
Oh, shit.
Interesting. I'll be curious to see what
Nice.
that's like. Blue Run Flight Series Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Okay.
4 barrels. Profile. Notes of vanilla. That's what it says. That's literally what it says.
Is that like the gimmick?
I don't know.
Is it supposed to be like the vanilla batch or something?
I don't know. This is very weird. 100 proof. The Flight Series showcases a unique micro batch process to highlight the vast flavor characteristics of our award-winning high rye bourbon. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well,
It's one of the weirder.
I'm curious. I mean, we've liked what we've had so far.
Yeah.
So.
Blueprint whiskey from Old Steelhouse.
Man, they give me another reason to get. I got Blue Notes over there. I get mixed up with Blue Run. Now we're going to get a Blueprint.
6 years old, 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley, 100 proof. The label looks really cool. The Blueprint Whiskey Series features historic blueprints recovered from the once abandoned Old Steelhouse Distillery. Thank you. It's a good looking label, though.
I like that.
Yeah, it looks really cool. What is this? A California wheat whiskey? Sonoma Distilling Company, distilled and bottled in Sonoma County. Interesting. 91 proof whiskey distilled from wheat mash. This whiskey is made from wheat and malted rye, aged in used whiskey and cognac barrels.
Well,
Aged a minimum of 3 years.
okay.
Interesting. I'd be interested in trying that. For sure. Coming Whiskey posted Arby's. We have the bourbon.
Oh my god. Actual
Gosh.
bourbon.
Well, weird week for news and
You have your 1 ounce of news from the Whiskey Mutiny.
oh yeah, what's your 1 ounce of news?
Miller Lite is releasing a Miller Lite infused charcoal
Boo!
for your barbecue.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Want to get one too? Want to make your summer barbecue a summer beer BQ?
Shut up.
Miller Lite
Miller Lite.
infused charcoal for those barbecue pros that know and love that classic charcoal flavor.
Look, and I'm a fan of Miller. Miller High Life, it's like my go-to regular beer. But shut up.
And it's not even like wood chunk charcoal. It's like actually like briquettes. Inside is a fine charcoal infused with the great beer taste of Miller Lite. Use it to ensure any backyard, lakeside, or rooftop barbecue tastes just as great as the Miller Lite in your hand. And if you happen to have a different light beer in your hand, well, at least your food will taste great. Oh, man, they went for it. This was...
I repeat.
on
Shut up.
Dad Bod Snacks on Instagram for this TTB
And
release.
it's legit. Like it's
Yeah.
Dad Bod Snacks.
It's funny because like
Is that your alternate account that you've
I
not told me
wish.
about?
Like just like we get seen samples to review, there's snack pages that get sent stuff like this to post. About
How
and
do
review.
you get on that though?
I don't know.
We need to figure that out for you.
I need about 51,000
I need
more
about Tree
followers.
Fitty.
So yeah, there's plenty of snack pages to follow if you want to see new snack releases
Man.
too.
That is crazy stuff to me. Anyway. You want to review something?
Yeah.
Let's do a review.
Let's do a review.
So, a couple months ago, we found out that Belle Meade Bourbon was only going to be sold at the Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. And we weren't sure what that was going to mean for, like, if there was a nationwide release that was going to be replacing it. And it turns out that there was. And this is Nelson Bros whiskey, reserve
Bro.
bourbon.
Brav.
Nelson Bros. It says a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, 107.8 proof. Siblings don't always see eye to eye, but Andy and Charlie Nelson are of one mind about the whiskey that bears their name. This artful blend draws from their choicest lots to create a robust high rye bourbon, and then they give tasting notes. So, I'm curious about this one. You want to pour first?
Yeah.
I think I paid about $65 for this. Let me
Is
look
this
up
everywhere now? Did you get it in Tennessee?
I got it in Tennessee.
Gotcha. I like the design and everything.
Yeah.
That's the Belle Meade bottle, right? I think
Pretty
so.
much, yeah.
Got one over there. 107.8 proof.
It looks like MSRP is about $55. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think I actually paid about $60 for it. So,
I mean, over 100 proof blend. Did you say? Sorry if I missed it. Did you say? Is this their own distillate, or is this MGP, or is this blend of both?
so from what I understand, this is actually Kentucky bourbons.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So there might be a little bit of Tennessee in there. I can't remember for sure. I was kind of zoning out when the shop guy was talking to me about it. I was like, uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. I've not tried this yet. I haven't gotten into this just yet. So this is a first impression
Nice.
pour for me.
Bear just almost choked himself. He almost drowned himself
I also almost just talked into my glass. I don't want to be around anymore. No,
Is this thing on?
No, somehow I a little bit got on the outside of the glass, and so it
went right up into your nose.
No, it just kind of got on my upper lip. It was just unsettling more than anything.
I'm not mad at this nose.
I'm not either, but I do feel like I'm missing something. Does that make sense?
It smells youngish. It's kind of got that. It's really corny, like
yeah, kind of mellow corny.
Yeah, true. And that's not even the glass I had mellow corn in. So
same here.
Don't blame it on that. Very corn forward, and grainy.
Kind of like perfumey, fragrant too. Like potpourri.
Yeah, artificial, like not like cologne, but artificial, just like try to make a house smell good.
Yeah.
Not floral,
like
as
like you sprayed too much Febreze.
Yeah, like not floral, like Four Roses, like very artificial, like a little too much in your face.
Oh, the palette is so much better.
Oh, 10 times better. Yeah.
Oh, it's actually like it's got complexity to it. And there's a darkness that wasn't even on the nose. Wow, that palette is so much better than the nose is.
It's
holy moly.
It's a 180 from the
Oh, it for sure is.
Yeah. Oh my. Like I don't
it loses that floralness almost immediately. And it starts going like dark chocolate and citrus, and there's an oakiness to it that
I immediately got chocolate oranges.
Yeah.
Like that candy and stuff that has that. Yeah, just when you said it just now.
God, that is so much better than the nose is.
I was worried for a second.
I was too. I thought we were going to have just a really negative review. The finish is a little bit short.
It's a little thin.
Yeah.
With that proof, I was hoping for a little bit thicker mouthfeel because it's kind of thin, but
it's a good drinker.
It's not anything it's just one of those that it's like pour it and drink it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really needing to think about it because there's more on the palate, like you said, than the nose.
Yeah. That's definitely something that I would start the night with or start drinking with as opposed to...
That would be my warm-up, just chilling.
Yeah.
And then you bring out something that's kind of that older, more viscous, more complex pour.
It makes me think about that. I think it was the 100th episode where we were talking about Elijah Craig barrel proof. Like, that's not something you're going to end the night with. Spoiler alert, past Perry.
Oh yeah, because I put that on one of the.
I put it in the
200.
quiz.
Yeah.
Quiz.
Barry said he would not end his night with this barrel. Oh.
That proved to be a lie.
And you are not the father.
Thank God. I mean, I'm happy I'm the father to my own child.
Right, but not that other kid.
I mean, maybe I am based on our pregame
that
chat.
you had to have that test taken. What?
We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. But yeah, like, is this just supposed to be their like normal offering?
Kind of, yeah.
Because didn't they do that other one that came out like last year? Nelson's Greenbrier or something like that?
Yeah. So they have... Let's just look at all their products.
Just goog it.
I'll give it a googs.
Give it to the goog.
Okay, so... Yeah, they've got Nelson's Greenbrier Tennessee whiskey.
And that's lower proof. Right.
That's 91 proof.
Okay.
They've got the Nelson Brothers, which we're drinking now. But they have a classic, and they have their reserve bourbon. And the classic is 93.3 proof.
So this is kind of like a mid-shelf thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like $60 a bottle, pretty much.
I'm not entirely mad at that.
I'm not either,
but I'm not entirely impressed either.
I mean, here's the thing, and I hate to keep going back to it, but if there's rare breed on the shelf,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going for that well before I'm going for this.
Same price, a little bit more proof, wild turkey. Yeah.
So yeah, this is their mid-shelfy kind of thing. But I think what's interesting is that they don't really have what I would consider to be like an ultra premium
True.
product anymore. Not that like Belle Meade ever really was, but
They had all those like finishes and stuff like the honey and all that.
Yeah. So I guess like as far as, limited releases, those kind of are.
Yeah, because they never
What you would
did.
consider.
Those were only like you had to go to the distillery and get it. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, we're getting this year's Belle Meade honey or anything like that.
Which I still don't think I've tried.
We had it at the meetup, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah. It was kind of late though.
It was late and we'd had a lot.
Yeah.
So, anyway. You know what it kind of reminds me of is corn pops.
Ooh, I can.
The
see
longer
that.
it sits on my palate, the more it's like this sweet, sugary corn. And I mean, it's got to be, what, like 4 to 5 years old? Oh, yes.
Let's go back into some sips and snacks here.
With the bunch of crunch from
Yes.
earlier.
Okay.
Did we just rewrite the game? Move over, mellow corn.
Well, if you want a little more expensive mellow corn pairing with Bunch of Crunch, this is it.
Boom.
Wow. Oh my. Oh my.
Heck yes.
Oh yeah. Oh,
That helps it.
that's almost. Have you ever had a like a corn pancake?
Yeah, of course, like a cornbread
Yeah,
pancake.
that
Yeah.
almost turns it into like a sweet like cornbread with like some kind of syrup on it or something like that.
That's a great pairing.
Oh, that's really good.
Do you want me to leave this with you so you can
I might-
do some posts?
I might have to.
I'm not going to miss it anytime
yeah.
soon or anything.
Unless you are sitting there and you have some Bunch of Crunch out of nowhere and you're like, oh shit, I left it at Eric's house.
Not again.
Not again. Yeah.
The magical space-time vortex that opens up in my house, and all of a sudden I have snacks from the movie theater. Why couldn't it have been Sour Patch Kids?
I usually buy the snacks at the store now because everyone sells them
No.
in the boxes just to save money. Oh, wow, that's a really good pairing.
This is going to be a weird review, I feel like. Because there are parts of this that I really like, and there are other parts that I really do not like.
Yep.
It's not that the nose is inherently bad, but I don't really want perfume on the nose of my whiskey.
No.
So I'm struggling with it a little bit. But we'll go ahead and start talking about this. So each category, let me back up a little bit.
Back up.
We got a review system of nose, palate, finish, and price on the show. Each category is out of 5. We give it a final score out of 20. You can, multiply by 5 if you want to see what it would be out of 100. But
Hundo.
what Hendo.
Sorry.
So, Eric, what are you thinking about on the nose here?
It's not good. 1.5.
I was going to say the exact same.
I mean, like you said, this is something that I want to smell when I go into somebody's like grandma's bathroom, but not what I want to smell when I pour some whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not whiskey good.
No. Yeah, 1.5 for sure on the nose. I like that the palate has kind of turned away from the nose. It's still not great. Like, I still have a couple of issues with it. I think overall, I enjoy it. Like I'm not going like I don't want to go back to this.
Like you said, it's a starter. It's not a finisher.
Yeah.
I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, I've been struggling between 2.5 and 3. I think naturally it would be like a 2.75, but I don't want to do all that extra math, so I'm going to go with the 2.5 as well. The finish is like non-existent.
Yeah.
It's a 1 for me.
I gave it a 1.5, just kind of like the nose. Like I get a little bit, but it's very thin.
And very quick.
Doesn't add anything extra to it. So, yeah.
But I think it does make for a better pairing with the bunch of crunch.
Yeah, if we added the pairing on there, a pairing score, yeah,
like a 3.5.
Yeah, I could go with that. Yeah, for sure.
But price with the quality of this at $60. I mean, there are just so many other things that I would pick up on the shelf. 2 out of 5.
I said the same, 2.
Yeah. So
I mean, yeah, it's the proof, I think, and the blending gives it a little bit, but it's still there's other stuff that's 100 to 110 that you could pick up for cheaper.
I have a 7 out of 20.
I'm a 7.5. I think I gave
just barely.
Pretty much the same.
This might be the worst review that we've given since you've been on the show.
I think it is.
Has there been anything else that
I don't think I've ever given anything under a 2 myself, like any category.
I know. That's crazy. I mean, we were due for a review of something that we didn't like. I think because we've had a bunch of stuff that we've been, big fans of and whatnot. But it's weird that like Castle and Keys Bourbon scored higher than this.
Yeah, I think
both batches scored higher than this did. Is it just because this isn't like within our wheelhouse?
I guess. I mean,
but even the Castle and Key isn't really within our wheelhouse.
Have we ever done a review together where we did a pairing in the middle of it to try to make it better?
Never. This was the first time.
I don't know. I just think with the price and with
just the overall quality of it.
Like,
yeah,
this is like a $14 bottle to me. You know what I mean? Like that just came out.
No, you're right. You're right. It is like a cheap Heaven Hill, like, not cheap necessarily, but one of their like budget bottles.
It's like that
they have on the market. I'm not saying don't buy this. This could definitely be within somebody's span or scope of,
I mean, I literally we saw at the meetup the differences in palettes because I literally brought a that Dark Door thing, and half of us like to have it sit. Somebody is going to like this. Somebody's going to love it.
Yeah. But if this is the replacement that we're getting for Belle Meade, that's a shame. That is an absolute shame.
You want to compare it to
I would
Belle
love
Meade?
to, actually. I'm going to get rid of... I'm not even going to compare it. I'm just going to get rid of the rest of what's in my glass. Now, is this the... Okay, so it's not the like cast strength reserve that they...
This is what they eventually, for a while, obviously not now, but they switched it up and did the same proof all around instead of the different proofs and all that.
So this is 108.3 proof.
And the other one is
107.8? Yeah, 107.8. I think that there is... And look, we are not experts.
No.
We are commentators.
I literally ruin whiskey according to some people.
But we are people who have opinions about whiskey, who have opinions about bourbon. I think that in some cases, bourbon suffers from over-analyzation.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that I'm not saying that like it could have been better at a different proof, or, you know, there could have been a slightly different blend that they could have done with what they had available to them. But I definitely don't think that is the best showing.
No.
From Greenbrier.
No, especially when you've got like this like following, like people love Belle Meade. I love Belle Meade stuff. You've got all like those, like we were saying earlier, the finishes and all that, and like you bring this out and like that just doesn't line up with anything else. I mean, this is straight off the nose. Like, I mean, it smells 10 times better.
It's just fuller.
Yeah,
it's just a more well-rounded product, and I can see where this has like the same DNA. I mean, they're definitely cut from the same cloth.
Yeah,
but they're not they're not of the same quality by any means. I mean, roughly, I'd probably wind up giving this at least double the score.
I would. Yeah, I was going to say this is, if you straight off the bat without going into it, like this is 50% better than what we just had.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is,
I think you should buy Belle Meade. Buy up Belle Meade.
Yeah. Get some backups of Belle Meade.
Yeah. No, I
because they're about the same price.
Yeah. The reserve bourbon is not a good replacement for the Belle Meade, which sucks. I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to, you know, see it as something that we could recommend to people if they, you know, were looking for an alternative to. Yeah. But it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, I guess.
That's how it is.
So, anyway, tips and bits.
Tips and bits.
It's where we recommend things for people. Not always bourbon related. Sometimes it is. It's very rarely bourbon related.
I feel like we've usually already given our quote tips and bits on bourbon.
Pretty much. I watched a few things.
You did.
I've been listening to some stuff.
You have
as well. Do you want to go first though?
Sure. I don't care.
Go for it.
I don't care. So you have not watched this, so I'm going to keep this spoiler free. But
I haven't had a chance. Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to get into it yet.
Spoiler free. If we want to go in the details about it, we can do it again. But Stranger Things season 4. I'm kind of 50-50 on.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but there's a lot of stuff I didn't. And it kind of leads in from the 3rd season, because I feel like from the beginning, they eventually got to where they were doing too many storylines in one season.
Oh, I think season 2 was a mess.
Yeah.
Season 1, I think, is still...
Season 1 is the best.
It's one of the best seasons of TV.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
It was so new and refreshing to get this. Season 2, it's almost like they try to do too much.
Well, and they were also trying to do that backdoor pilot where, you know, there was like the 11 spinoff where she's got all these other superpowered friends and everything. And it just was messy and clunky, and it didn't feel... It didn't feel quite as organic as the first season did.
So season 4 kind of continues that. We've got like 4 different stories going on at the same time. And I personally was only invested in the group of kids that was in Hawkins dealing with the Upside Down.
Yeah.
So you've got 11 at the end of season 3. She moves away with Will. Mm-hmm. The Myers are going to take care of her, keep her away from everything. So they're in California.
Yeah.
You've got the Hawkins kids, Nancy and Steve, babysitting everybody still. All of them in Hawkins. You've got Hopper, who's in Russia now. Yes. Yes. Hopper's in Russia. Did you see the
Wait a second.
Did you see season 3?
So, you know, I did. But, like, okay. So, spoilers for season 3 of Stranger Things. So, he dies at the end.
Yeah.
Right? But I didn't realize that he's just in Russia.
Yeah, they caught him and they take him to Russia. So we've got this whole...
So he's now, over the course of like 2 or 3 years, his
One
two
year.
biggest roles.
1 year.
Sure.
Yeah.
His 2 biggest roles both center around him being in Russia in some capacity. That is so freaking funny to me.
Yeah.
I would have lost my mind if I had started watching season 4 and he was in the exact same prison that he was in Black Widow. I would have lost it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're talking about Black Widow. Okay.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, this is like a 1 year gap between season 3 and
No,
season 4.
no. Yeah.
But you're talking about Black Widow.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I get it now.
That's why I reacted the way that I did, because
It all makes sense.
oh, that is good. That is really, really funny to me.
So we've got Joyce and the other guy, I can't remember his name. He was helping Hopper. They're trying to get Hopper from Russia, and they eventually make it to Russia. So you got the Russian story. Then you got the kids in California. Then you got the Hawkins kids. And then 11 eventually breaks off on her own, and you've got a 4th story going on. But I'm telling you, if they would have just focused on what was happening in Hawkins, this is like Stranger Things meets A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the most horror-filled Stranger Things yet.
Good.
It's so good.
That's what I'm ready for, man.
I'm not gonna totally shit on the show because of everything else going on, because episode 4 is one of the best Stranger Things episodes to date.
Awesome.
So good.
Okay, this is slightly off topic. Was season 3 the first time that any member of the cast in Stranger Things dropped an F-bomb?
I want to say yes.
Billy did.
Yeah, I want to say they did.
Because I didn't remember it before then.
They didn't. It was usually like a PG-13. Like they didn't hardly do anything like that.
Well, I think you can get away with one.
One. Is it one? More than one is rated R or something like that? I think so. But yeah, like season 4 is kind of messy, but it all wraps up pretty good at the last episode, which technically
it's the middle of the season.
Because they're going to come back with like 2 or 3 movie-long episodes to wrap up season 4.
So in the rumor going around was that the reason that they split it up was because of Netflix's poor viewer retention with all of the issues that they've been having recently, especially with employee walkouts and whatnot. But from what I understand, it was actually because the special effects were not ready.
There's a lot of special effects in this one.
And here's the thing. They went from, we're going to release all of season 4, like 6 months before the first half got released. And then they pushed it back. And they were like, oh, we're only doing the first few episodes. And then they go, we're going to release the second half of the season later in the year. So it's a mess. Yeah. Like, as far as a release standpoint goes.
Oh, and my kids
that's insane.
My kids are pissed.
They're that like, they don't have the rest of the season.
We gotta wait another month. Yeah, because like the kids.
I thought it wasn't until like September that they were putting out the second half.
July. So you gotta wait a month.
Oh, okay.
Just a month. Yeah. So you got time. But it's a messy season, and they're trying to do a lot. There's the arc of the kids in California. It just doesn't have anything hardly to do with Stranger Things, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But the Hawkins stuff, it's like Nightmare on Elm Street, and the villain is cool. It wraps up it kind of comes together at episode 7, and I'm ready to finish this out and see.
Good.
So,
I think too that we've kind of reached that natural conclusion of the show where we're just like.
But I think there's a season 5.
Well, I think that there's a season 5 as well, but it's not going to be for probably about 10 years. When everybody gets aged up and they're adults and everything.
I would be watching this season. I would be happy if it was like Stranger Things, the Hawkins Files, where it was like for 1 or 2 episodes, the kids kind of Scooby-Dooed like different
that crap
upside down
They Scooby-Dooed that crap.
They Scooby-Dooed that crap. Different, like, upside-down monsters. Like, some kind of monster from the upside down. They had to figure it out, send it back and do it, and then it moved on to another one. Kind of like a Monster of the Week type show.
Yeah.
That would be kind of fun. Watching it like this, I'm like, yeah, that could work. But they're definitely trying to pull it out and put so many different storylines that it's kind of just messy.
And I think that was what we were kind of led to believe season 2 was going to be like, because you see them in the previews dressed up as the Ghostbusters, right. You're like, oh, well, maybe they're going to actually have to, like,
they added Max and Billy too.
Yeah, and they're going to have to, like, put things back into the box essentially with, all the ghosts, but monsters that are coming from the upside down, and it just was like, I don't know, season 2 just didn't have the same impact that season 1 did. Season 3 was, I was really kind of bored with it.
Yeah.
By the end, I was like, all right, well, I wasted, 6 or 7 hours of my time with this show. But I don't know. There's something I think that is still so compelling about these characters that it makes me want to go back and find out what's happened to them. And that's a big problem with current television shows anyway, that some of the characters are written in a more compelling way than the story actually is.
True.
Which is weird, because those two things shouldn't be mutually exclusive. They should work well together. And like I haven't watched any of the CW superhero shows in a long time, but at least for the first 3 seasons, that's what kept me going with The Flash.
Yeah. Because
those characters were so interesting and you cared about them, even though what was kind of going on around them was not that interesting.
Yeah.
It was the way that they kind of reacted to things in their life.
Reality Flash. Now that's an interesting story right now. The real Flash? The person Ezra Miller's.
Look, they need professional help. They need to be removed from society for a little while, and we'll talk about that maybe when the Flash movie comes out next year, even though it was supposed to come out
this year, November. Yeah.
Anyway, I hate to hear that it's just kind of a mess.
It's not. I'm not saying don't watch it, because there's
I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There's more good than bad, but at the same time, I found myself wanting certain stuff to just get off the screen and get back to the Hawkins story, the upside down stuff.
Yeah.
When you watch it, you'll know what I mean. But yeah, it's the most horror filled Stranger Things so far, though, and I like that a lot.
I'll talk about a few things. I'll kind of run through them a little bit quicker, but hold on. My notes haven't synced up between my phone and my computer, so I've got a bunch of different things going on. I've spent a fair bit of time recently reacquainting myself with YouTube channels, and watching a bunch of stuff that's going on there. There's a guy that I've been watching for a long time. His name's Charles Cornell. He used to do meme videos where he'd play along to, weird thing, weird rants or whatever that had, his biggest one I think was a Cardi B video where he played piano along to her. She just had a weird social media video, and he just did that for a long time, but then it started getting to where he was breaking down music and talking about it in very educational ways. And with the Bob's Burgers movie coming out, he decided to put out a video on H. John Benjamin's jazz album. Do you know about this?
No, but the fact that he's doing a jazz album has just cracked me up.
So it came out a few years ago. It was in 2015. And the album cover, I'll paint a picture for you. It's H. John Benjamin, and he's sitting at a piano. and he's dressed like Evel Knievel. And the title of the album is Well, I Should Have ... with a little asterisk. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you see the asterisk again, and it says, learned how to play piano. And so there's a few tracks on the song or on the album that are called, like, I don't know how to play piano.
I was going to say, I can't play piano or something.
Yeah, and like there's a part 2 and everything. And it's, from a music standpoint, it is like slightly infuriating, but at the same time, it is so funny because he's got this really tight band playing behind him, and like they know the tunes and they're just well rehearsed and everything. And here he is just plonking away on the keyboards.
It doesn't even work.
Oh, it's like rhythmically, it's pretty much there.
Yeah.
But it's completely out of key, and he's not really playing anything of note or anything good. But it's a really fun listen. Yeah. It's really fascinating. I mean, if you're like into jazz, which I know you're not really, but I mean, H. John Benjamin as an actor,
I appreciate music,
as a comedian.
Though, so.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny to listen to and everything. So Charles Cornell, he did a breakdown video about that. But then I also discovered this the other day, and I was having one of those moments of like existentialism where, it's really wanky, but just like having that thought of like, if I could somehow be able to go up, just outside of Earth, go into space and just look at the planet for like 10 minutes, just see that there's this whole thing that we're existing
this
on.
Whole round ball that we're just hanging out on.
And then just come back down. I'd be perfectly happy. Like, just if that opportunity ever presented itself, I would be a very happy person. And then, like, 2 days later, I got recommended a live stream on YouTube that was the view from the International Space Station as it passes over the Earth. And it is genuinely one of the most relaxing things I have ever seen. And it's so fascinating to watch it just pass over different continents and islands and everything. And you see where, like, clouds are forming for storms and different weather patterns and whatnot. But it is so cool. And, like, it was almost like that answer to, like, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to do that.
Right.
But here's something that might kind of scratch that itch. But, like, it did in a weird way. And I was just kind of like, I found myself more at peace. And it just, I don't, like, I showed it to, I talked to Lucy about it, and I was like, that just happened across this thing. And I thought maybe she would get bored with it. And I was just watching it on my phone, and I handed her my phone, and she stood there. She literally just stood next to me for like 2 minutes straight, just watching it. And she was like, this is fascinating. She was like looking at, how the clouds were forming and everything. And I was like, I know. Like, what a crazy time in technology that we can literally get images sent directly from a satellite that's
amazing,
floating above the Earth.
Yeah.
And we can see everything that's happening. It just is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I watch it like daily now. Just as like my moment of zen.
I'll have to do that.
It's really, really nice. It's a good way to kind of remind yourself that things are not always as big or bad as they seem to be.
I like that.
In one moment. So anyway.
I like that.
It's been a crazy episode. We've been all over the place.
I like that too.
Between Arby's and bourbon that we don't like,
The
to
upside
talking
down.
about the upside down and talking about the meaning of life, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Which
what
is-
you get when you listen to This Is My Bourbon podcast.
Yeah, it's where we are, man. But anyway, now's as good a time as any, I suppose, to bring us on home,
Bring us home.
which I'm going to allow Eric to do right now because that's his job.
I can't believe that you gave me this responsibility. Like, I mean, I get
You
nervous.
do a great job with it,
I know,
though.
but I get nervous every time. Did I ever told you that? Like,
No.
part of me goes, do it right, or you're going to get fired.
You're not going to get fired. Who else am I going to have? That was the fakest little laughing.
Nobody, bitch.
You ever seen Steve Carell's Joyless Laughing Man? He did it on Conan once.
I don't think so.
He was completely like emotionless, does like the biggest Michael Scott laugh ever. But he's not smiling at all. It is so funny. Oh my gosh, it cracks me up. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can help us out. And at $5, you get all the bonus shit. Episodes, uncut episodes, whatever me and Perry decide to do. We're going to put it on the Patreon. So yeah, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. If you want to send a question or a comment, or you want to send us a sample or ask us to pair something, this is mybourbonshop@gmail.com. If you want some merch or apparel, it's bourbonshop.threadless.com. If you want some Whiskey Mutant merch, it's whiskeymutant.shopify.com. If you want to leave a message on the Barrel Ring segment, it's 859-428-8253. Call that number. Leave us a voicemail, and we'll talk to you. Not in real time, but you'll get to hear your voice on the episode. On all social media, you can follow the show at My Bourbon Pod. On Facebook, we have a Facebook group that's continuing to grow. A lot of new members coming in on that. You can post whatever you want. You'll get show updates.
I've had to kick a couple people out recently though,
shit.
because they're little spam bots.
Ooh, little spam bots. Get the fuck out of here.
Answer your
spam
question.
bots.
If you want to join, answer the question.
Answer the question. This is My Bourbon Podcast Facebook group. You can go on YouTube. This is My Bourbon Podcast. Perry goes live every Thursday night. I try to join him whenever I'm not busy, but like I said, every Thursday night, 8 o'clock, Perry's on This Is My Bourbon Podcast on YouTube.
It's true. Every week, every night.
He's always
not
there.
every night. Every week.
Every night, every week. That's begins with Thursday and ends with Thursday. I don't know what I'm saying.
Thursday.
Thursday. If you want to leave a review, do that. Give us a 5-star review or not. Either way, we're going to read it.
Read it personally and out loud.
Yeah, out loud. And if we don't like it, we'll probably just shit on you. But
You jerks.
At the same time, we enjoy reviews and we need them. And then, you know what? Just tell your neighbor. Tell your friend. Just tell us.
Tell the guy that you bought Elijah Craig Barrel Proof from.
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope he listens.
I don't know if he will. Either way, I mentioned it. So, but yeah, that's how you support the show, follow the show, and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah. We had a bonus episode come out last week. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. We got another one coming out this week. We're going to try to do some more like just bonus reviews and whatnot, just so there's more content in your feed, and so you guys can stay a little bit more connected with us. I hate this that like at the end of the episode, I finally feel like I'm fully awake. I think
Your eyes kind of.
Well, I think I needed
opened
a
up.
little bit of. I think I might have had a slight hangover, and I needed a little bit of alcohol to kind of like hair the dog me out of it. I don't know. Anyway, next week,
Flying blind.
sure. I don't know what else. Maybe we could.
I got a review we're going to do next week.
You know, it would be fun because I'm looking at it right there. We could compare our Elijah Craig single barrel 18s.
Oh,
That'd be fun.
yeah. Let's do it.
Compare it with some other Elijah Craig single barrels, and we could just do a whole Elijah. It's been a while since we've had just like a centric episode on like one.
And I've got the Elijah Craig that I did the YouTube
Yes,
bourbon.
let's do that too.
Elijah Craig episode coming at you.
Sounds good to me. because I don't think we have any like new releases or anything that are going to be out soon. If there are.
I've got some stuff coming up that we can review.
Okay.
Either
got
way,
stuff.
we got stuff.
Regardless, that does it for this week. As always, thank you all so much for listening. We couldn't do this without you. You guys are literally the reason that we are able to just do this every week.
Yeah.
So we'll see you all real soon. Until then, though, I'm Perry.
I'm Eric.
And this is My Bourbon Podcast.